Welcome to a video where I'm going to share one of the key things CX leaders do different. It's part of a series of 10 things CX leaders do that are very successful. Let's go watch what one of the key elements is. Number 9, they drive a customer-centric culture. Having everything in place, your measurement framework, your customer listening, your method of change, you have your network, you have your story and your strategy. And now you've come to how do I get people to act? It's a mindset. Customer centricity is not something that you can just do with processes. It's a little bit in the heart. And how do you get into the heart and the minds and the hands of people? You need to work on it really, really strategically. At the time at KPN, where I saw where we were at, an NPS of -14, it was not our major focus point. Of my team of 12, one person was working on it. But as I gained momentum, this is where I started building up. And great CX leaders, they see that this is where you should work on. There are some elements. Think about leadership engagement. How are leaders really thinking? I know a great CX leader, they work with behavioral change and with leadership development, and they have put customer centricity in one of the senior leadership education programs. That's a smart thing to do. What I also see is that really they put in for leaders more like a behavioral change elements, where they really get first the awareness of CX, because do you know that leaders, they face the Dunning Kruger effect? They do. That means that they think they're really good at customer centricity, but they're not. And it's really important to get them to find that out themselves, to trip over the truth. And you have to help them with this. There's smart ways to do that. Play the customer experience game, people do mystery shopping, listen into contact centers, really take people along on this customer-centric leadership track and this journey. Then it's important that you get to behavior change. Of course, it's not just leaders, but do you know that employees, they copy leaders, they see what they do. So you have to focus on leadership too. But what do you want employees to do? I see successful leaders have brand behavior training. They have customer contact empathy training. They do a lot in the development of training with people. Also, a really smart move when you look at culture is to work together with HR. How do you get CX in the recruitment? How do you get it in onboarding? When people are new in your company, do they get an onboarding where you explain NPS or CSAT, or who your customers are, or what your brand behaviors are? How great would this be that every new employee is already getting a little bit of the hunch of CX? Do you know what we think is that other people understand what CX is? And especially when you look to customer-centric culture change, that's not true. When I was at Harvard in the last two years, one of the things that really got to me was one of the professors said, a confused mind says no. And we need to build bridges. We need to take that away, to get the confusion away, what customer centricity is, to beat the Dunning Kruger effect, and to really, really change and implement. How can you do that yourself? Let's make it as small as possible, because you know I'm practical right now. I found out when I was at KPN, somebody said, Nienke, when did you solve a customer for the last time? And I had to confess that in the last half year, I had not been with a customer at all. And I don't know, how's that with you? I think as a CX team, every month you have to be present somewhere where the customer is. That means either visit an outlet, call a customer, visit a customer, go to the contact center, call back detractors, promoters, neutrals, it doesn't really matter. In your team every month, and you as a CX leader at least every quarter. You have to walk the talk, my friends. This is how you inspire. And do you know that the CX leader of the Rijksmuseum did exactly just this? What she did is she got 2 outfits, one as a post in the museum and one for guest relations. And every other Friday she was there. And she inspired others, and even the director of the museum. Great CX leaders think about culture change, and they lead by example.